Hi everyone, my name is Catherine from Peace Etc. and I guide people who grew up in mentally and emotionally unstable environments to become safe and secure within themselves. So one thing I wish I knew about healing, self-development, self-discovery before I really embarked on that journey was that you're not going through self-development to become more lovable and good enough or become more worthy. That's not the end goal. You're starting with being good enough and being lovable, worthy, and letting yourself change and become more of yourself through love. It's because you are worthy of love and acceptance just as you are that you get to experience these changes where you're shedding old identities and beliefs and behaviors about yourself that you based on conditionally loving yourself and feeling like you weren't good enough. So then that you took on to feel good enough to be loved and accepted. I have always been very reflective and introspective, and I got into self-help. Sorry, I don't mean to do self-help, but I got into the self-help field back in early high school, I'd say. But even before that, I was always contemplating why things happen, why I am the way I am, and in certain scenarios. And at that time, when I was just getting into it, and for a long time too, actually, until I started really healing my inner child, I thought there's stuff that's wrong with me. And so I was coming at healing from a point in personal development, self-development, from a point of I need to fix myself. I need to change myself because there's things that are so many things that are wrong with me. And I need to delete these things as soon as I can. And every time I did that, I feel so much more shitty about myself, and I experienced low levels of self-worth and self-esteem. And I was like, why is this happening? Why am I stuck in this pattern of trying to change for the better but not changing, and feeling even worse about myself because number one, I'm not changing. Number two, there's so many things that are still wrong with me. And it just kept getting worse. And when I began inner child healing, I was still in that mindset of, okay, I'm someone that needs to be fixed. There are things that are wrong with me, and I wasn't accepting myself. But the more I did it, so I started inner child healing when I was 25, really going deep, and it continued until 28. And so around 27, 28, I really began to accept myself. That's when 27, 28, 29, that's when the deeper acceptance of myself came up. And I began healing from that space of, okay, I'm acceptable and I'm lovable and deserving just as I am. But there's these ways of being and the way I feel about myself or way I perceive that aren't working anymore. So how can I love myself more and accept myself more? That's when the more deeper transformations and changes started taking place, and these were more longer lasting because it was coming from a place of love, unconditional love and acceptance. I wasn't punishing myself anymore. And I wasn't looking at myself as someone with all these issues, all these faults, And to be honest, when I was still coming at self-development from a place of oh, I need fixing and I'm not worthy, I saw my shadow, I saw myself more shadowy and dark And my light was like this compared to the shadow. Whereas when I really started to embrace myself, accept myself, and love myself, and adopt more like positive, well, I don't mean positive as in like positive, negative, but I guess adopt behaviors and ways of being that really came from a place of love for myself and acceptance for myself, then I started to really see more of my light and also be okay with my shadow because I'm lovable and acceptable just as I am. I can have both of these. And it became more like a balanced picture of myself. I began seeing a more balanced picture of myself. So, yeah, the main thing that I really want to get across is like you're not doing the inner work to become good enough. That's not an outcome of personal development or self-discovery. You already are, and you really start like seeing more of yourself when you accept and love yourself. More of yourself feels safe to come through because you feel safe within yourself. When you're coming to your healing personal development through fixing and that there's something wrong with you and that you're not acceptable just as you are, then you're still feeling unsafe within yourself. So then your inner child can't come through. She feels like she can't trust you, or he can't trust you, or they. But the more you accept yourself and love yourself, you'll be surprised because it's kind of counterintuitive. The more you'll see of yourself. And even with seeing more, the more you're able to really like be open to and accept. Of course, it takes work, but once you get going, you get the hang of it. So, yeah, and I'm just hearing like you get a full picture of you. So, thank you for listening this much, and I hope there's something in this message for you. Bye.